Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. In 2025, our queer stories have reached 11 million streaming views, and Queer News Tonight has been the most watched LGBTQ news and lifestyle show in the world this year.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida. We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBT community. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Tuesday, September 16th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show. Hotspots Happening Out is one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, in the same model as PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
We support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community and want to inform and educate on the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture.
Our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience. Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 11,000 LGBTQ streaming stories. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fest. Our nonprofit 501c3 magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leaders will host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet tonight's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Larry Farver. Larry has over 20 years' experience in human resources, acting, film, radio, TV, live events, parade float design, production, and casting. He's also a board member of the West Side Association. Larry, Spooktacular movie night to light up Wilton Manors is on October 17th. Tell me, what's happening out?
Absolutely, Cindy. Wilton Manors will soon host a frightfully fun community gathering with a Halloween Spooktacular movie night set for Friday, October 17th at the Wilton Manors Elementary School field. The evening will be presented in partnership with the Wilton Manors Elementary PTA and promises to bring families, neighbors, and friends together for a seasonal celebration. Activities begin at 5:30, leading up to the screening of the animated hit Hotel Transylvania at 7 p.m. Guests will enjoy a variety of highlights, including trick-or-treat stations, spooky arts and crafts, fun games, and tasty concessions. Attendees are encouraged to arrive early, bring blankets, lawn chairs, and costumes, and join in the festive spirit before the movie begins. This free event will be open to all ages, offering the perfect chance for the community to connect under the stars. More details will be available at wiltonmanors.gov. Well, I'm kind of excited, even though we were just saying earlier off air, can't believe it's almost the end of September and we're going into October.
Yeah. Soon.
But I was in a recent little quick shopping trip in the dollar store and I saw Pixies and Christmas things before Labor Day. So,
no.
It's crazy.
Yeah. These are great opportunities, though, just to be with different people, meet new people in your community. And I've gone to a couple of movies, not at the elementary school, but in the park over by
Nickel Park.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
Or maybe Hagen.
Hagen. I think it was Hagen, but it was awesome. It was so much fun, and everyone brings their blankets and chairs. And
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of cool too because this is 2 weeks before we have our world famous event on the drive.
Yes,
Yeah.
Wicked Manors.
The Wicked Manors. So I did a little research on this animated movie, and it has some really good headliners. So I think it's a good acting cast. And while maybe there isn't a specific LGBTQ identified character,
it's
or
fun and campy.
cast, that's right.
It's Halloween, yeah.
And
Halloween.
it's fun.
What is it, the gay national
but I think-
holiday?
Right.
No, but I think the one thing that came out of it in looking at some of the commentary was, well, the monsters kind of escape the regular human world. So in a way, they're kind of a minority as well. So not that we're going to add them to our alphabet, but I think it sounds like a fun animated movie. It's that time of year. And where else in Florida can you watch a movie outdoors? I think it's one of my favorite things that I've enjoyed since I've been here over 5 years.
Yeah.
Right, in October.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And hopefully it will start cooling down a little bit.
Oh, yes, please. And no rain.
Yes. Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Spooktacular Movie Night on October 17th. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. So support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing and Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of regional LGBTQ publications and websites. Welcome, Gregg.
Well, it sure is great to be here with y'all, two of my favorite folks. And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, the one and only Cindy Brown. Cindy has been an activist for the LGBTQ plus community for 35 years, working for or serving on many local nonprofit boards. She served as the founding executive director of Miami Beach Pride and currently sits on the LGBTQIA advisory board for Miami-Dade County. She also runs her own consulting company, Synergy, for nonprofits, helping with finance, strategic planning, board structure, grants, and more. Hey, Cindy, welcome.
Hey, I'm glad to be here at the table with you fine gentlemen tonight. And I use that term loosely.
Yeah.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Cindy Brown, and let's queer up entertainment. Queer talent shines at the 77th Emmy Awards. Queer talent made history and headlines at the 77th Annual Emmy Awards in Los Angeles, where they took home 4 of the night's 12 acting trophies. The show opened with Out Saturday Night Live star Bowen Yang joining host Nate Bargatze for a sketch about the invention of television. Early on, Tremel Tillman won Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series for Severance. His victory made him both the first black man and the first openly gay black man to earn the award. Later, Hack star Hannah Einbinder claimed her first Emmy after 3 nominations, closing her speech with, quote, "Fuck ICE and free Palestine," end quote. Backstage, the openly bisexual comedian said, quote, "I feel like it's my obligation as a Jewish person to distinguish Jews from the state of Israel," end quote. Somebody Somewhere's Jeff Hiller also celebrated his first Emmy win, thanking the Duplass brothers for, quote, "a show of connection and love in this time when compassion is seen as a weakness," end quote. He honored his husband, Neil Goldberg, and co-star Bridget Everett. Fellow nominee Coleman Domingo cheered his win online. One of the night's sweetest moments came when out British actress Erin Doherty of Adolescence thanked partner Sinead Donnelly, saying, quote, "I love you with everything I've got," end quote. She won an award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a limited or anthology series or movies. That was not all. While accepting an award for Outstanding Reality Competition Program on behalf of The Traders, Alan Cumming wore a pink and blue Not a Phase pin for the trans right, saying he feels a duty to, quote, speak out for people less fortunate, end quote. On the carpet, Megan Stalter carried a bag reading Ceasefire, while Natasha Rothwell voiced support for Black women and LGBTQ plus nominees. Even Hunting Wives stars Brittany Snow and Maylene Ackerman gave a wink to their character's same-sex romance while presenting Best Lead Actor in a limited or anthology series or movie. After Snow joked she was, quote, really slow to come out onto the stage, Ackerman teased back, quote, I don't mind waiting for you to come out, end quote. All in all, for queer visibility, it was a night to remember. That's really great that a lot of these LGBT actors are getting recognition. They are fantastic artists and they deserve the recognition. But it's just so exciting to hear people even talking about, okay, the queers were out at the Emmys.
Yeah. I had to stop and push the info button on the remote because for a minute I thought we were watching the Tony Awards. It was so gay.
Right.
And I was a little dismayed in that a lot of the early coverage of Tremel Tillman's Emmy win, they reinforced the fact that he was the first Black man, but some of the outlets overlooked the fact that he was the first gay man, first Black gay man. I mean, that's really important. However, I was so excited with Jeff Hiller and Hannah Einbinder and Aaron Doherty. It just, it made this overall queer presence so much more important when right-wing extremists are trying to erase us. So we're there. We're here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just having everyone being their authentic selves. And I think, it's... there's a light on us and we need to keep that light, whether it's entertainment or any other opportunity. And I think it was all positive out there. Mm-hmm. We're loved. There's some folks who say they don't love us, but they were probably tuned in.
Yeah. And then they probably weren't sitting in that audience.
Right, probably not. But, I think the more, especially in times like these, the more visibility we can get, the better.
Well, yeah. I think a lot of people, whether they're, part of our community or they're on the spectrum of politics, we're a lot more fun to watch than what they might produce.
Of course.
Definitely.
If they're able to produce anything at all.
Right. Yeah, well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Larry Farver, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. South Florida launches Breathing While Black and Trans docuseries. This Saturday, September 20th, South Florida will spotlight resilience and truth with the launch of Breathing While Black and Trans, presented by the McKenzie Project. This groundbreaking 4-part docuseries uplifts the voices of Black transgendered individuals in the region. The premiere will take place at the Overtown Performing Arts Center from 4 to 10 p.m. Guests can expect a red carpet at 6, a cocktail hour at 7, and the first episode premiere at 8 o'clock. Organizers are encouraging everyone to dress to impress in any shade of purple and to bring a friend that is willing to bring another friend. This series shines a necessary light on real stories of survival, sex work, navigating homelessness, and finding healing in Miami. By centering the lived experiences of Black trans people, the project aims to challenge stereotypes and create space for the empowerment of the community. For the LGBT community, this premiere isn't just about watching, it's about witnessing, honoring, and supporting voices too often pushed to the margins. More details about the event are at themackenzieproject.org.
I knew a girl that was coming out, and she started this when she was 14. And I also knew another girl who's my friend still to this day. she ended up, when I met her, she had started to transition. She was 15 when she started coming out. So I would have to say 14.
Because the key word in that question is vulnerable. We are in such a vulnerable, fragile state that we will fall for anything for refuge. At least me.
Homelessness amongst transgender individuals in Miami. A 2024 report indicates that approximately 1/3 of LGBTQ youth in Miami-Dade County experience homelessness or housing instability, with transgender youth being disproportionately affected.
You know, when you're staying in a hotel, you got a hotel to pay every night. Probably ain't got no kitchen, so you got to buy out, you know, throughout the day. You probably, you can't really afford hormones, you know. Probably if you can get up from being, you know, hustling all night, if you can get up for an appointment, you know. I remember my family started calling me the vampire. You know, I only came out at night. You know, it was when the sun going down, 5 in the evening, 6 in the evening.
I've been homeless many times in my journey, but this last particular time, through my transition, I became homeless after getting problems with paying my rent.
Time of my homelessness, to be 100% honest, there were none. And the ones that they say they were offering, when you would go to the county side, when you would go to the city building and you would apply for these resources, you would say, hey, my light bill is due. Hey, I heard you guys up. Once they would see the ID and the name and things didn't match, because my name was not changed at this time. Like I said, it was the beginning of my transition. So once they would see the ID and the name, it was I'll call you back. It was I will let you know. And you never got that call. So to me, there were no resources. Even if they were saying they were providing a certain resource, I was not one of the people who were afforded those resources.
Wow, what a powerful preview. I'm excited about that, and certainly will try to attend and encourage other folks to attend. We often forget about the marginalized people in our community. I think certainly it's human nature, whether you're part of our LGBT community or part of the cisgendered community, to celebrate, you know, the things where you do things and people have money, and sometimes you can sort of be invisible in that world. But these folks are already marginalized financially, and, you know, they're living a life that, you know, makes it even tougher to assimilate and achieve. So I think this is an exciting step in the right direction.
Yeah, it opens their lives up.
Absolutely.
And there's the personal stories. You know, when you hear things in concepts or, you know, very ethereal, you know, this is a human being, and you're hearing their story. And, you know, listening to the one woman talk about, you know, you don't have a kitchen, you know, you have to go out for everything. And that's what I call the poor tax.
Of course.
Yes.
You know, if you can't afford a refrigerator and you can't afford
to stock it,
to have a, you know, any kind of cooking device at your home, you are forced to buy prepared foods. And, you know, I think that we need to recognize, and I think in the gay community we don't do a good enough job, that we have poverty in our own community. Not everybody are the folks going to the fundraisers and the gay men with the, you know, the Bali vacations 3 times a year.
Yes, that's right.
And, you know, if you can try and put yourselves into somebody else's shoes, that's what opens hearts and minds. And Mackenzie Project is awesome.
Yeah. And I love that idea of bring a friend that is willing to
to
bring a friend.
friend.
That's such a great
Yes.
idea to just increase the size of those attending.
Exactly.
That's a great way to put it, and it sounds like an amazing event.
Yep.
And hopefully this brings some opportunities to these folks who are marginalized.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know in our community of Wilton Manors, we're viewed as being affluent, but one of the things that we're pushing for, and, it's one of the things that I personally support in the future with planning and development, is that we have more workforce and lower income
Affordable
housing.
Absolutely.
And I know that's a bad word or phrase that some people hear, and they bring out stereotypes. But I think it's time
Necessary.
and necessary, because we want these folks to be able to work in our communities and thrive and grow.
Right. And when we talk about affordable housing, somebody who makes $60,000 a year cannot afford housing. We're not talking about even housing poor people.
Right.
We're talking
Right.
about housing people that are out there working every day.
Really hard and
There's
not making
enough on it.
not making ends meet.
But I think this is great. I think the series is going to be wonderful. And congrats, Mackenzie Project.
Yes.
Great work.
Kudos.
Yes. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Gregg Shapiro, and let's queer up gay culture. PRISM Gala 2025 honors queer, punk, and resistance on October 18th. Mark your calendars, because on Saturday, October 18th, ArtServe in Fort Lauderdale will come alive with the 2025 PRISM Gala. This year's theme, Queer as Punk, a history of resistance, draws inspiration from Riot Girl and feminist punk, celebrating queer activists who fought on the front lines for equality. As the PRISM website puts it, quote, as queer youth face mounting attacks across the state, our movement calls for a return to scrappy, grassroots tactics, end quote. The gala promises an unforgettable night featuring live entertainment, dinner, interactive exhibits, a silent auction, and an awards ceremony that will spotlight today's changemakers. Guests can also look forward to an exclusive after party. The evening will honor the blood, sweat, and tears of those who paved the way while fueling the next generation of advocacy. For tickets and more details, visit prismfl.org. As an old punk rocker myself, I endorse this theme and concept. Riot Girl and queer punk bands such as Team Drash, Pansy Division, Slater Kinney, Tribe 8, Husker Du, Tom Robinson Band, and La Tigra, among others, they made political music at a time that we needed political music. So now is the time to bring that energy back. Kudos to the 2025 PRISM Gala organizers for recognizing this priceless form of activism.
Yeah, and I love their scrappy grassroots tactics.
Yes.
I mean,
That's it.
That's
That's
like that. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And as one of the
Act up,
older
people, act up, yeah.
in our community, I am thrilled that younger people are taking this seriously, and they're picking up the banner, and they're change makers for the future. We shouldn't be planning the future of the young people.
No.
That's for them to pave their own way. And I'm so glad that we have young people who are willing to take that torch.
And we can give them guidance.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And a return to grassroots is what we need right now with all the funding cuts.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think back, and I won't mention the years, but when I think back on going to the marches on Washington and...
Oh, say the years. Be proud.
Okay, late 80s, early 90s.
87, 93, yeah.
Yeah.
I was there too.
It's important. And, we kind of lost a generation of activism.
Absolutely.
And the, young people now, because things politically have gone so haywire, there's a lot more attention being paid and a lot more action.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Larry Farver, and let's queer up the USA view. Virginia moves toward repealing same-sex marriage ban. Virginia is on the verge of a historic vote that could reshape the state's constitution and strengthen LGBTQ plus rights. Lawmakers have advanced a proposal to repeal Virginia's 2006 constitutional ban on same-sex marriage, clearing the way for voters to possibly decide the issue in 2026. The ban, approved nearly 20 years ago, defined marriage exclusively as between one man and one woman. While it was rendered unenforceable by the U.S. Supreme Court's Obergefell versus Hodges ruling in 2015, the discriminatory language remains part of Virginia's founding legal document. Narissa Rahaman, executive director of Equality Florida, calls the amendment a, quote, stain on our most revered document, end quote, and says removing it is essential for both legal clarity and equality. The urgency has grown since Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022. Justice Clarence Thomas has even suggested revisiting rulings on marriage equality, sparking fears that if Obergefell were to be reversed, Virginia's ban would spring back into force. The new proposal, Senate Joint Resolution 249, would not only repeal the ban, but enshrine the right to marry regardless of sex, gender, or race. Advocates say that this would give LGBTQ Virginians lasting protection, even if federal law changes. The measure passed the Democratic-controlled Senate, but faces uncertainty in the closely divided House of Delegates. Some Republican lawmakers object, citing concerns over religious freedom, though existing laws already safeguard clergy from being forced to perform marriages. If approved again in the next legislative session, voters will make the final call in 2026. For Virginia's queer community, the decision is not just about marriage, it's about dignity, recognition, and ensuring hard-won freedoms that cannot be rolled back. Well, it's a lot to think about, and it's kind of nice to be reminded that there are some, I like to say maybe sort of like idiosyncrasies where we have a federal marriage protection law at this time, and that there's states that would have banned it and that the federal overrode it. So we can't let it slip back.
Well, Florida actually has marriage equality and had it before the country did. So, but we're Florida, so that's... Yeah. And I also want to point out there are equality organizations in every state. This is Equality Virginia. Equality Florida is very active here in Florida.
We need them to be,
And also, I recall years ago seeing bumper stickers and signs, Virginia is for lovers.
Yes.
You remember that?
I was a little kid.
Well, this is also another reason that the upcoming gubernatorial election in Virginia, sane Democrat Abigail Spanberger versus crazy as fuck Republican Winsome, or as I like to call her, lose-some Earl Sears. This is really an important election. And anybody who's ever spent any time in the D.C. region knows that a large segment of the LGBTQ community in that area lives in Northern Virginia.
Right.
They say they live in D.C., but they really live in Northern. So, as always, voting in elections is extremely important. Vote.
And we can't risk not voting this time around.
No.
So
We have to cover our bases. Hopefully there will never be any kind of backpedaling with federal marriage protection laws. But, you look at some of the things that have come to the table, and we all know who Clarence Thomas is, but the fact that he's in a mixed marriage or a biracial marriage, at one time, marriages like that were not permitted, especially in the South. And
all they have to wonder, is this a way for him to get rid of her? Like, if just wondering.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people just need to butt out of other people.
Absolutely, love is love.
Privacy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Virginia is for lovers.
That's right.
And
keep it that way.
That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBT community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform. Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Cindy Brown, and on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Gregg Shapiro and Larry Farver, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ world, we hope you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, be transformative, and queer. Good night.
Good night.